With this season basically a wash, what are your expectations for Brooklyn next year?
Well, I expect them to be in the championship picture. I just expect them to be one of the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference, and at the very least in the Eastern Conference Finals, because I happen to believe that when healthy, Kevin Durant is the best player in the world, or at the worst, top 2. I think he's that elite of a superstar, and I think that his cachet, his ability to score the ball so proficiently without needing the ball as much as others do, I think that's going to propel them to new heights, and I think that's going to free Kyrie up to do the kind of damage we know he's capable of doing when healthy. But that doesn't mean there isn't immense pressure. Matter of fact, there is immense pressure, not just on those two, but the Brooklyn Nets. Let me take it down the list. First of all, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you got to pick the right coach. As far as I'm concerned, it's an easy decision. It's Ty Lue or it's Mark Jackson, our analyst here at ESPN, who, by the way, my condolences to him and his family. He just lost his mom last week. I didn't know that until the other day. Devastating loss for him and his family. My heart and love goes out to the Mark Jackson family. But let me say this to you. Mark Jackson was not only a damn good coach in Golden State. We keep forgetting Mark Jackson is from Queens, New York. Grew up a few blocks from me by O'Connell Park. Mark Jackson starred at Bishop Loughlin High School in Brooklyn, New York. Mark Jackson starred at St. John's University. He's a local product. I don't understand why this guy isn't, if he's not going to be, if it ain't the Nets, or it should be the Knicks. One or the other should gobble him up, if not Ty Lue. As far as I'm concerned, both of them should be the coaches in New York. That's just it. Nets got to make the right decision there. Then we get to the players. Here's the reality. Kendrick, you know where I'm going with this. Kyrie did win a championship before. Who was his teammate? It was LeBron James. If anything, that's applicable pressure to apply to KD. Because if Kyrie, a younger Kyrie, can win with LeBron, and you, and you KD, and you supposed to be that dude, particularly with Karis LeVert, with Dinwiddie and these boys, Jared Allen and these boys. Even Wilson Chandler. Why can't you sit up there and pull something off in Brooklyn? So that's going to be some pressure for KD. But Kyrie is the last. Here's the reason why. First of all, there was speculation that the Mets didn't really want him as badly as people would have thought. It's just that he came with KD. But the other thing is he got there. He obviously was injured, had some health issues, only played about 26 games. We know what a superstar and how box office Kyrie Irving is when he's healthy. But you still need to be on the court to get it done. And with all of this stuff going on, the eye of the storm is going to be on Brooklyn. They got some pressure, but they got the skills to handle it.
Yeah, they have pressure, and the expectations is that they should be a playoff powerhouse, and I think they should if KD returns, let's say, at 80% of what he was. But a couple things. Number one, no one returns, really, from the injury KD had as 100% of what they were. Dominique Wilkins, you want to go back how many, 30-something years, and say that he was still more or less the same? He was diminished, but even he was diminished. So you want to say KD is going to be 80% of what he was? That's a whole lot. 80% of KD takes him from an MVP caliber player to not just a regular all-star, but a good all-star player. And now you put that with Kyrie. But let's look at Kyrie. What has Kyrie Irving's effect been on teams on which he's played as a pro? You know, the Cavs were going nowhere, to the point where they kept drafting first so many times that LeBron eventually said, hey, they can use some of that to go get Kevin Love, and with Kyrie, I can do something there. And then once LeBron showed up, they were great. And then as soon as LeBron left, they were no good. Kyrie gets traded to Boston. Boston performs better without him on the floor than with him on the floor. Now think about the effect you have to have on a team if you're as good as Kyrie Irving, who I've said maybe the most skilled player ever. Pure skills, not the wisdom when to deploy it, but pure skills, handles as good as anyone ever. Finishing in the paint below the rim as good as anyone ever. Shoots the lights out. What does Kyrie not do? So you have Kyrie Irving performing on that level, but the Celtics and then the Nets both get better without him on the floor. That's who KD is playing with. Then you look at what LeBron did with Kyrie. LeBron then is better than KD really ever was, but certainly better than a diminished KD. And in the weak East, LeBron won one with Kyrie, and they had Kevin Love. The East has gotten better since then. So what makes you think they're just going to win a championship with a diminished KD and this version of Kyrie, who does not seem to make his team perform better? I think the expectations are playoff powerhouse. I think if they win a championship, they deserve enormous credit because they should not be favored to do so.
Well, Max, here it is. When you talk about Kyrie, Kyrie is one of one, and he's a generational talent. But what Kyrie is he's a Robin. He's not a Batman. He's a great Robin. He's a great little version of Scottie Pippen. Not the same game-wise, but he's a great Robin. He's a great second option. Kevin Durant, we're talking about arguably the greatest scorer of all time. He's going to come back healthy. He got it on his mind. Technology is way more advanced than when Dominique Wilkins was playing. And I think if you put Kyrie and Kevin Durant on this team that they have right now, they'll make it to the finals. That's how special both of those guys are. But once again, going back to Stephen A. Smith's point, you have to make the right decision in getting a coach. I love Mark Jackson, but I think T. Lue is the guy. And here's why. Not only is T. Lue a stud in the coaching area as far as a head coach, but he also know how to manage egos, Stephen A. You know, he learned from the greats, Phil Jackson, learned from Doc Rivers. And he also played with greats. He coached greats, LeBron James. He played with Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal. So he knows how to interact and control egos like how Phil Jackson did with that Bulls team. So, at the end of the day, if you take a healthy Kyrie and a healthy... Yeah, they should. Mark Jackson should have been had a job. I agree. I don't know what the problem is with that. He should have been had a job. But if you take Kyrie and Kevin Durant and you put them on this Brooklyn Nets team right now, they will be picked my favorites to come out of the East. Period, point blank.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.